Okay, we're going to go ahead and get the call started. Welcome all millionaires. Welcome freedom fighters to the call. I want to tell you guys that all you freedom fighters out there, keep pushing through when you really don't want to. Keep fighting. Your breakthrough is right around the corner. Your breakthroughs, you're one person away from your breakthrough. And with that being said, those of you whose first time on this call, I want to let you guys know that every week these calls are full of stories, strategies, and secrets of the super wealthy. So I want to welcome all of you to Obsessed with Success. And now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and move out the way and introduce you guys to a master marketer, a phenomenal leader, a great mentor. This guy never worked a job in his life. He pulled himself out of poverty, mostly using systems he learned from his mentors, everything that he wants from himself, he wants for you guys. The Wizard. This guy's the greatest mindset trainer of all time, self-esteem development expert, Haziq Ali. Are you on the line, sir? Mr. Ali, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
The floor is yours, brother.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sherrod. Welcome, millionaires. I want to invite you to the last teleseminar of 2014, and we're going to end it with a bang because one thing I know for sure is that vision boards are life-changing. Vision boards, the best way I could say it is that a vision is the combination of a what and a why, right? Like a what is the facts, a why is the emotion, which we know means energy in motion. So when you combine a what and a why, it changes it from the goal, which is the what, and it adds in the whole energy, the whole sort of like all-encompassing picture that kind of like sums up what it is you want to do with your life and why it is you want to do it. Like, what is your purpose on the planet? We've talked on past calls about this phenomenon called apoptosis, where the brain literally self-destructs the cells in the organism at the point that it's decided you've outlived your usefulness. Well, a vision board is one way of keeping apoptosis way off of you. It's all about desire, y'all. When it comes to happiness, we all know that you got to come from, and write this down, if you want real fulfillment, you've got to make sure that you're coming from joy and purpose. Joy and purpose help you to not have the wrong roots that lead to the wrong fruits. Some of these wrong roots that you see people going from, you're like, how could this person be wealthy and they're still so dejected? They're still so miserable. They're still so obviously unhappy. Well, it's because they're coming from things like scarcity, fear, anger, or proving. Again, that's scarcity, fear, anger, and trying to prove stuff to other people. Those are the roots that give you fruit you probably don't even want to eat. But then there's this other side of the coin where you're actually building yourself into this thing that can be happy. And that means you're coming from either joy or purpose or a little bit of both. And so that's what a vision is made up of. It's made up of equal parts. What is your purpose? What is the goal? And then what is your joy point? Why are you doing this? So then, what is desire? Desire is nothing but possibility seeking fulfillment or function seeking performance. When you're talking about desire, you're talking about a godly thing. So there's a difference between being joyous and being content. Discontent is a highly creative state. Discontent is a godly vibration because discontent is what gave us the automobiles, the airplanes, the iPhones, Google. We're not here to be satisfied. Just as a plant reaches for the only light in a dark room, you are too a part of nature. And so it is on you, even the very cells in your body, to grow faster, stronger, to become bigger. That is the purpose of life. We are to live this thing to the limit. And so with that said, you want to be in touch with your visions. You want to be in touch with your purposes. We are not allowed It's a weird thing about the human mind. We are not allowed. It's a weird thing about the divinity inside of us. We are literally not allowed. We are not able. We cannot think of something and feel that certain emotion around it if we don't have the ability to see it happen. If we don't have the ability to bring it to fruition, we would not have been given that vision. I'm not talking about random thoughts here. I'm talking about visions. I'm talking about when you have a what combined with a why. You're not allowed to have a vision that you don't have the ability to bring to fruition. It is impossible, as sure as my name is Haziq Ali. So we're about to get into this. If you have friends and family that need to be on this call, now is the time to text message them. My Instagram is Haziq Ali. My Facebook is Haziq Ali. And my Pandora station is Haziq Ali, too. But the thing about this is that when I mentioned my Facebook page, I promised you guys a story of why I had that picture up where I'm sitting on an elephant. I'm going to post you guys a picture from my vision board from about 3-4 years ago when me and my lady at the time went to India. I told this story before, but never in the context of us actually going through how to set up a vision board. So just humor me if you've heard this story before, if you're somebody that's always been on our Obsessed with Success calls. But it's one of my favorite stories because somebody asked me, why don't I change my profile pic? And obviously I could do photo shoots. Obviously I have other pictures I could use. But there's a reason I keep that up, and it ain't for you. It's for me. Because you got to be dead serious about these vision boards. So when I first cut this picture out and put it on my vision board a few years ago, I thought that it was a really romantic picture. It had a woman and a man respectively sitting on these elephants. And I thought that this was just the sexiest thing in the world. I thought it was super romantic. They were obviously in some foreign exotic land. And it wasn't that big a surprise when less than a year later I found myself in India with my lady at the time. Now, what was weird about this trip to India is that we hadn't been getting along the whole time. We went for her birthday, and I really loved this girl. I really thought that she was the one, and you just got to be specific because, as it turns out, she was, shall we say, interested in someone else. And I didn't find out until we got over there. We got into this huge argument. Interested is not the word I want to use. It's the word I'll use for our teleseminar. But we got into a huge argument because I wasn't as self-developed as I am now, where I can tell you, if you love it, then let it go. And if it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, then it was never yours to begin with, right? I wasn't that enlightened at that time. I'm not scared to admit. So, wouldn't you know it, we got into this huge blowout. When it's time for us to get on these elephants, my vision board picture came exactly true. She was on the elephant in the front. I was on the elephant by myself in the back. And that's why I have that on my vision board, because you really need to know that these things work. Your brain has to reproduce what you put in front of it. This is why a lot of us keep continuing to live the same lives over and over, because it's all we were given when our brain was in alpha state. It's exactly why you're supposed to meditate, to put yourself back in alpha state so that you can begin to insert new programming that overwrites your old commands. If you don't do this, then you're going to be stuck in a cycle like you wouldn't believe. Sometimes when I look at the divorce rate, when I look at the fact that the family just seems torn up, especially in the African American community, it makes me think back to slavery. Before I get into that, let me explain. I used to have really deep-seated anger issues where I would black out. I've got scars on my body that I don't even remember how they got there. I don't think I've ever been this transparent on one of these calls before, but it's the end of 2014. I'm a very private, secretive person, but I'm just going to share with you guys because I love you guys, and if we don't grow together, then we're going to die together, right? But I used to have really deep-rooted anger issues to the point that, like, again, I've got all types of scars on my hands. Like, if you ever see me in person, ask me to show you my right hand. I've got all of these scars on my right hand that, like, I don't even remember how they got there. Sometimes, you know, after it passed, my friends would be like, so you don't remember what you did with such and such? And I'd have no recollection. Oh, yeah, he said something to you about your shirt. And, you know, I've put myself in very dangerous situations, etc. So long story short, one of these types of situations happened and I had to get into trouble with the legal system. They made me go through anger therapy. And with the psychiatrist, or psychologist, I forget which one you call it, the one that doesn't give you drugs, they put me under something called timeline therapy. Bear with me, I'm making a point here. How timeline therapy works is that you have to remember everything you can, from 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15 years old, 15 to 20, and they have you write all of this stuff out. You can look at pictures, but you're not allowed to ask anybody what happened because it doesn't matter their recollection. It just matters how you recall the events. So they have you write all of this stuff out. 0 to 5, what do you remember? 5 to 10, what do you recall? See, and write this stuff down, guys. No beliefs you have are right or wrong. No story you want to tell yourself is true or false. The only way you need to look at these things is, are they supportive or unsupportive to your goal? So a woman can stand up and say, oh, I'm a widow, or she can stand up and say, oh, I'm a survivor. You can ask yourself why things are happening to you, or you can ask yourself why things are happening for you. Wounds are only there to make us different people than our mommy and our daddy. It's so we know who we are. That's the purpose of these scars. That's the purpose of these wounds. But I digress. When you're dealing with timeline therapy, what you find out really quickly is that from 0 to 5, you start noticing the same patterns from 5 to 10. You start noticing the same patterns from 10 to 15. Then 15 to 20, you see some of the same stuff from 10. It's amazing. So back to my point about slavery, at what age did one of our great, great, great descendants just see their father get sold off to another plantation? At what age were we when our great, 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 because keep in mind, this is only 250 years ago. Keep it real. This ain't like no thousands of years ago. We're talking about 250, 300 years ago, right? This is just a couple great grandfathers away. How old were they when you watched your mom cheat on your dad with the slave master or whatever happened? Not to get too deep, but I want you guys to understand that if you don't insert new patterns, the same way a bird don't have to be taught to fly south for the winter, you start flying south when you're experiencing a winter in your own seasons. Right after winter comes spring, true enough, and each season has a reason, it has a purpose. But my point to you is that you are in control. So when you're doing things like these vision boards, you're taking control of your life. Creativity is next to godliness. Your creative imagination is the most powerful of the 6 faculties of your mind. We've got to start taking control of it. So I've given time for all of your friends and family to get on the line. Guys, I'm about to give you the 6 different areas that you may want to create visions for. These are 6 different areas. They were given to me by one of my mentors. I hope that you guys are able to use this to change your lives, because I'll be damned if 2015 isn't going to be better than 2014 was. The first area would be business and career. These are in no personal order. These are in no particular order, I should say. The bottom line is that you prioritize them the way you want to prioritize them, but we've got to learn to be fulfilled, body, mind, and soul. That's the only way you're ever going to be happy. Body, mind, and soul. Again, desire is just possibility seeking fulfillment. As in, you've got the potential inside you, and it wants to reach for the sunlight, like a plant in a dark room. And it's function seeking performance. You have this ability to do stuff. Use it. Perform, homeboy. Perform, baby girl. Because if not, you're killing off little bits of your soul. So this first category would be business and career. How much money do you want to make? One quick thing to jot down when it comes to that is that you may want to separate your year into months. We discussed this about 3 weeks ago. Sometimes, and I got this from my homie on one of the calls for our company, shouts out to Justin Owen. He said a jewel on Sunday. Because don't forget, a wise man can learn from even a fool. A fool can't even learn from a wise man. I hope everybody on this call understands that you need to be learning constantly. The minute you think you know it all, that's the minute you start dying. What he said that really stuck with me is that a person, the average person especially, will work harder for $500 extra than they will for $50,000 a month. Why? Because a person only works as hard as they believe. And believe it or not, a person believes they can make an extra $500 a month. Some part of them does not believe that they can make $50,000 in a month, because they need timeline therapy, because they need to insert new programming. Their mama don't make $50,000 a month. Their daddy don't make $50,000 a month. What makes you think I can do it? You know what I'm saying? We struggling folk. That's what we do. How's it going today? Man, it's hard, man. Oh, my God. Oh, man, I'm making it. So when you're splitting these business and career goals up and you're naming them, you ain't got to say, oh, I'm going to make $500 million this year. Because if you do, you're going to bump into what we call cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, which is basically a big word for saying, after you keep on doing all this stuff and you know what I mean, you're going to stop believing yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Cognitive dissonance. So then, you might set one goal for the year, but then split that up into months. Now it's not so big that it scares you, but it's big enough that you jump out of bed without the alarm clock. Maybe you separate that month into weeks. This is how much I'm going to make every week. And then maybe you separate that week into days. I just now saw my homeboy last night, my man Jamal. Shouts out to them. He said he was going to do it. He put his mind to it. Before noon today, he had a new teammate. It's amazing the power of intention. So set these goals, but don't set them huge so that you begin to feel dejected when this miracle, which don't forget, a miracle takes a shift in consciousness. You still got the same old consciousness. Just the words alone ain't going to do it. Words and thoughts are the most powerful things in the universe, but they got to be in line. And if you don't believe yourself, the minute you say those words, your inner self is rolling his eyes. Like, man, whatever, dog. We don't even wake up to work out like you said we would. We never do nothing we say we're going to do. That's why I warn people that if you want self-respect, keep little promises you make to yourself. Stop playing. So what are your business and career goals? Again, this is area number 1. I'm going to give you 6 of them that were given to me. What are your business and career goals? Do you want a promotion or a raise? Do you want to grow your team by this many for some project you're working on? Do you need this many new employees? Jot them down. Find images that fit with this. Number 2, how many people schedule fun goals? Fun. How many vacations do you and your lady want to take this year? They give you X amount of vacation time at your job. How much of it are you using? It ain't got to be a 3-week vacation, but it could be a long weekend. It ain't got to be a yacht. It could be a road trip. How many are you going to take with your significant other? What are some other things you like to do? How often are you going to go bowling this year? Or go play laser tag? How often are you going to have fun this upcoming year? Go to a comedy show. Create a date night. Number 3, health and fitness goals. Maybe you want to get down to a weight. Maybe you're like me and you want to get up to a weight. Maybe you want to bench press 30% more than you're doing now. Maybe you want to be able to bench press your body weight. Which, you know, I'm slim, but I'm strong. Right? Not to be confused with skinny. I'm slim. Oh, boy. Maybe you want to run a marathon. It's up to you. But put something on your vision board that signifies when you look at it, yeah, this is what I said my health and fitness goals were going to be. A 4th one, relationship goals. Now, this isn't just romantic relationships. Remember one of my mentors told me this story about like how, you know, it's so funny, like when husbands or boyfriends get together, you know, it's almost like we're the pets. You know, the girls bond because whatever, you know, the kids might go to the same daycare, or they may all get their hair done at the same salon, or they just may be coworkers and girls just get along. I don't know, they have a different energy, right? They have a different spirit. You know, like men grow through challenge, women grow through praise. So a lot of times women bond by praising each other. You know, ooh, girl, I like your bag. Ooh, girl, I love your hair, and all of that. So what will happen is they'll be friends, and then next thing you know, you're just supposed to be friends with your girl's dude. Or if you're married, your wife has a wife she likes, and then you're just supposed to naturally be friends with her husband. It don't always work like that. Maybe they're not into reading books. Maybe all they want to talk about is sports. Maybe you don't know nothing about sports. Or maybe they, you know, drink a lot or get high, and you're not into that. So maybe you set relationship goals of some new male friends that you want to be friends with. Maybe you want 5 or 10 new friends that you're going to go out to eat with once a month. But that you'll go hang out and play dominoes or spades or go to the gun range. Maybe you want to start a book club. But what are these relationship goals that you can kind of insert into your life? Number 5, personal growth. Maybe you want to learn a new language. Maybe you're like me and you're going to learn how to cook. You're going to take some cooking classes. Maybe you want to just jot down some areas that you want to position yourself as an expert. Maybe this goes in a business and career, or maybe this goes into personal growth. But maybe you want to jot down 10 things that you know, think, or feel about a subject that's really close to your heart. Maybe you jot down those 10 things that you know, think, or feel about this subject, and you figure out a way you can express it in your own terms. Maybe that becomes a book. Maybe that becomes a film. Maybe that becomes a song. But this is personal growth. What can you do different this year from every year that just went by? Number 6 will be a contribution goal, a legacy goal. You guys know, some of you guys know that are on these calls that one of my goals is to end world poverty in the next 35 years. A lot of people say that sounds impossible, but hey, I'd rather fail at the impossible than succeed at being a loser, right? Most people don't aim too high and miss. They aim too low and hit it dead smack in the center. I think Les Brown said that. But let's look at this goal. Let's look at this legacy goal. All we need is 1 million millionaires. Some I can help create, some I can meet. But here's the thing, 2/3 of the billionaires were self-made. And to generate $1 million, all you have to do is sell 1,000 of something that costs $1,000, or 500 of something that costs $2,000, or 2,000 of something that costs $500. Like I said on cooperative economics, which was the Kwanzaa principle from 2 days ago. How many social media friends do you have again? So if you've got over 1,000, you need to tell me all you're lacking is a product that costs $1,000 and there's your $1 million? But here's my point. 1 million millionaires that are each willing to give $1 million, that's $1 trillion. That's $1 trillion. Or if you take 1,000 millionaires, that's $1 billion. If we can get 1 million people to each give $1,000 a month, do you understand what just happened? That's $1 billion a month towards ending world poverty and creating world abundance through getting rid of this poverty mindset, through creating abundance mindset. But that's my legacy. That's my legacy goal. That's my contribution goal. A lot of you feel the same way or you wouldn't be on this call, and I love you for that. But another thing that I wanted to add to this is that when me and my friend David did this vision board party, which we're going to have another one in the next 2 weeks, for those of you guys that missed the first one, when we did this vision board party, one of the magazines was this GQ that featured 50 Cent. Channing Tatum's on the front, or Tatum Channing, whichever. Sue me. I don't even watch TV. I don't even, have cable or nothing. So it's like, but you get who I mean. The actor, I'm sure the latest heartthrob for the ladies, y'all know his name. On the cover of that GQ magazine, there was an article featuring 50 Cent. And I just want to read you guys a little bit of it because he starts off the whole thing. Now, understand, this is a dude whose mother had him at 15 years old. She told him it was an immaculate conception to make him feel special about not having a father. And she was murdered 8 years ago by somebody, 8 years later, by somebody she obviously trusted. He became a drug dealer at the age of 12. When his album came out, it sold nearly 1 million the first week, sold nearly another 1 million the second week. He moved directly from his bedroom in his grandmother's house to Tyson's old mansion, 18 bedrooms. He had his first son when he was 21, barely speaks to him anymore, because as he puts it, his son has taken on his mother's way of thinking. So now he lives in his 18-bedroom mansion by himself, et cetera, so forth. He's like the Great Gatsby without the girl. I think her name was Daphne or something like that. Daisy. But here's a dude who like has a movie poster with him and Robert De Niro in a movie called Righteous Kill. Again, to symbolize how improbable is this life that he's living if not for the use of creative imagination. He's got songs on that Get Rich or Die Trying album like, girl, it's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me? Now, understand, when he wrote that, he was down and out. He's already writing the song from the point of view of a successful person, not this guy that's lying there in a hospital bed, riddled with bullets. No record label will even answer his phone calls. He's wearing a bulletproof vest. Even when he got success, he's driving around in a bomb-proof car. This is all imagination, y'all. So here's how the whole article starts off in GQ. Huge letters. 50 Cent says, make a vision board. Do it tonight when you get home. Open your laptop, create a new folder. Think about the things you want for your future. I want you to Google pictures and put everything you want in this folder. Everything. All right? The reporter replies, all right. He thinks for a minute because after that he had mentioned his girlfriend. So 50 Cent wants her to make a vision board too. Then you're going to compare. Take things out of your folder and things out of her folder to create a folder that has everything. Now the vision board is no longer your personal vision board for yourself. It's a joint board. That joint board will represent what you have in common. It'll be a monument to your love. But there will be some leftover unmatched photos too in each of your folders. And that's what the joint board is really for. That's what it's designed to reveal. The things that end up on your vision board that aren't on hers, and the things she has, the things that will end up on your vision board that aren't on hers are the things that she has to accept about you. And the things that she has that you don't are the things you have to make a compromise with. In a healthy relationship, he explains, your differences are really what need talking about. This is how you go about making that conversation happen. And then he smiles that big 50 Cent grin, and he's like, now they ain't going to tell you to do that in no book. If you guys haven't read the 50th Law from 50 Cent, I highly suggest it. So at that point, we're going to shut this call down. Does anybody have any feedback or questions about a vision board and how this thing works? If you do, then push *6. You can unmute yourself, and then we can get into it. *6 will unmute yourself. Say that one more time. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Quadi from North Carolina.
What's happening, Quad D?
Yeah, what was number 6?
Number 6 was contribution and legacy goal. I'll run through all of them one more time. The first one is business and career. The second, these are in no particular order, are fun time. The third is health and fitness goals. The fourth are relationship goals. The fifth are personal growth. And then the sixth is contribution and legacy. By the way, you can also convert a lot of these goals into affirmations so that during this next new year, you're chanting I am and then listing whatever affirmation kind of fits with where you want to go in life. So, yeah,
hey, Haziq.
For that, Qua. Yeah.
Jamal from Atlanta.
Okay, Jamal, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, fam. I'm good. I just wanted to touch on the fact that I was at your vision board party a few weeks ago with you and David. And I put on my vision board 1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say money, it just says 1 million.
Yeah.
For Christmas, my girlfriend bought me 1 million cologne. It's crazy. I was like, I got to be more specific. That's all I want. Emphasize being kind of specific because you definitely get what you ask for.
Man, that was the point of my Facebook. Man, great point, Jamal. That was the point of my Facebook story. The reason I had that picture up as my Facebook avatar, and whoever that's not my friend on Facebook, request me, but it's Haziq Ali, but you're going to see me sitting on this elephant. I'm going to post a picture that came from. You got to be specific. I should have had me and my lady on the elephant if I wanted to keep that, relationship strong, et cetera, and so forth. You got to be specific with this stuff. Great point, Jamal. Anybody else got anything before we get out of here? I know everybody's trying to get ready for their New Year's celebration. Okay. Well, yeah, man, I really appreciate all you guys being here. May the best of your past be the worst of your future. If nobody else has any feedback or questions or concerns, then we can definitely go ahead and start getting our vision boards ready, gather your magazine, kind of like gather your thoughts first, right? Kind of like don't be scared to dream big. Don't be scared to flood your mind with some of this imagery. And let's change ourselves so we can change our world. I appreciate all of you guys. Love you. And I'll see you guys in 2015. Peace.